to another cold place, and that place is Greenland, a frozen land that suddenly feels very hot in global politics. What sounds like a distant, icy island has now become a center of power, money, and fear. President Trump has announced new tariffs, and the world is paying attention. On Truth Social, he said the United States has subsidized Denmark and all countries of the European Union for many years by not charging them tariffs. He said this situation can no longer continue. According to him, it is now time for Denmark to give something back. He warned that world peace itself is at stake. He said China and Russia both want Greenland, and there is very little Denmark can actually do to stop them. He announced that starting on February 1st, these countries will face a 10% tariff on any and all goods sent to the United States. That message alone caused shock, confusion, and anger across Europe. Lucas joked that the moment President Trump started talking about Greenland and tariffs, Rachel suddenly turned on her heater. Everyone laughed at that timing and wondered if it was just a coincidence. Rachel then shifted the mood and said that foreign leaders had already responded very directly to these comments. Griff quickly added that this reaction was not surprising at all. Rachel agreed and explained that UK leader Keir Starmer made his position very clear. He said Greenland is part of the Kingdom of Denmark and its future must be decided by the people of Greenland and the Danish government. He also said Arctic security matters to all of NATO, and allies must work together more seriously to deal with the threat from Russia across different parts of the Arctic region. Starmer strongly criticized the idea of using tariffs against allies who are working toward collective NATO security. He said this approach is completely wrong. He added that the UK would take this issue directly to the US administration. At the same time, French President Emmanuel Macron also reacted strongly. He said tariff threats are unacceptable and have no place in this situation. He warned that if these threats are confirmed, Europe will respond in a united and coordinated way. He said Europe knows how to defend its sovereignty and will do so. He added that he would speak with European partners in this same spirit. Rachel then raised a question that stood out. She said she did not understand something very basic. The United States pays heavily for NATO because NATO wants America to protect them from Russia. But now these same NATO countries are saying the United States itself is a threat because it is talking about taking Greenland. Denmark, she said, cannot really protect Greenland from China or Russia if there were serious incursions. So how does this make sense? Why is the United States paying people who now see America as a threat just to protect them? Lou responded by saying we need to go back in history to understand this, all the way to 1951. Lucas added that the United States made a treaty with Denmark that allowed U.S. forces to be stationed in Greenland. He mentioned comments from the Wall Street Journal saying Trump has already, in many ways, taken over Greenland without officially owning it. He explained that the president wants his Golden Dome missile defense system. Trump has about 3 years to get it deployed, and Greenland plays a major role in that plan. This is a big part of why Greenland matters so much to him. Lucas said the president wants Greenland, and part of that desire may be about his legacy. European allies are very nervous about this situation. Lucas then reminded everyone that if the United States were to buy Greenland from Denmark, it would not be the first time America bought islands from Denmark. He asked if anyone remembered the Virgin Islands. Rachel quickly said yes. Lucas explained that in 1917, the United States bought the Virgin Islands from Denmark. Rachel then asked how many U.S. bases exist in Greenland today. Lucas answered that there is a major Space Force base there. Rachel pointed out that there is really just one main base. Griff added that U.S. involvement in Greenland goes back to the 1950s. Lucas explained that during the Cold War, the United States flew armed strategic bombers over Greenland. One of their missions was simply to look down and make sure the base was still there, to ensure it had not been destroyed by the Russians. Rachel said she had seen a funny meme online showing Denmark protecting Greenland with a wall made of Lego bricks. Everyone laughed again. Lucas joked that the Danes are famous for Lego. Rachel then returned to the serious issue. Can Denmark really protect Greenland from Russia? She mentioned that Russia has many icebreakers. Lucas added that they are nuclear-powered. Rachel said yes, and because of those ships, Russia can open more shipping lanes in the Arctic. This changes the balance of power in the region. She asked Griff if this situation connects to the Monroe Doctrine that he often talks about and whether Greenland fits into that way of thinking. Griff said that it does. He explained that President Trump's second term has been very different from his first. Using tariffs to push countries to the negotiating table has been one of Trump's most successful tactics so far. In the first year of this second administration, this approach has been used again and again. Trump set a clear February 1st deadline, and now everyone is waiting to see what happens next. Griff said that when you read the statements from Macron and Starmer, it feels like a serious wake-up call for Europe. He said Europe needs to come to the table and deal with reality. Where this situation goes next is still unclear, but one thing is certain: the debate over Greenland, NATO, tariffs, and global power is far from finished.